is it's election interference, and it's tying up the president from being out on the campaign trail. And of course, we know that from the polls that have come out, even from the New York Times, Rasmussen Interactive this week, President Trump is leading all over the country. And the conclusion you could draw from that is the American people have already acquitted Donald Trump, because the things that they're concerned about, inflation, crime, the border, the economy, all of these things, President Trump is leading by huge double digits versus Joe Biden. And the sooner that this scam trial can be concluded, the sooner that the president can get back to getting out, campaigning, and talking to the American people about the issues that matter to them.
I think that's very aptly put there by the governor, that the American people are going to acquit the former president. We have some bombshell cross-examination of key witness, I would say key perjurer, serial perjurer, a convicted felon, known liar, rotten to the core, Michael, I can't tell the truth, Cohen, on the stand today. So we saw the prosecution yesterday in this complete scam, sham, hush money trial, and now it was Trump defense lawyer Blanche's turn to cross-examine him. And this, to me, I can't wait to hear what you guys think. This, to me, completely just obliterates the entire case. If this is your star witness, you got a lot of problems, Alvin Do Nothing Bragg. If this is your key witness, you got a lot of problems, Vegetable in Chief Biden. So check this out. Let's go from the right from the top, where the testimony first started today, May 14th, 2024. So this was a really interesting exchange. Trump attorney Todd Blanche noted that he and Cohen had never met before, but that didn't stop Cohen on TikTok last month after the trial had begun, and referring to him as, quote, a crying little beep, end quote. I can't say that word right here. Cohen responded, quote, sounds like something I would say, which he kind of repeated like an empty chorus throughout the entire testimony. After prosecutor's objection, the judge summoned the attorney to the bench, and the entire question was stricken. The cross-examination of Cohen proceeded in a kind of stop-and-start fashion, thanks in part to the frequent objections from the prosecution's team. Blanche then argues, this is Trump's attorney, then argues that Cohen is, quote, obsessed with Trump, getting him to acknowledge that he is personally vested in the case and has talked about it on TV for years. Some of that publicity, Blanche said, came despite prosecutors' frustration, quote, that you would not stop talking to the press. Quote, yes, sir, Cohen said. Blanche then honed in on Michael Cohen's social media posts. Amid rapid-fire objections from Hoffinger, Blanche continued probing Cohen's hyper-focus on Trump, quizzing him about various social media posts and comments he's made about Trump and the trial as it was unfolding. Mr. Cohen, quote, Blanche asked, you have been following what has been happening in this trial. To some extent, yes, Cohen answered. Blanche then pressed Cohen about an April 23rd TikTok post he made, which is, less than a month ago, after the start of the trial, in which he stated that the prosecution's first witness, former National Enquirer David Pecker, is corroborating what, quote, I've been saying for years. Now, I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been talking about the fact that you've got Trump, who has a gag order. Trump's not allowed to say anything. Trump can't speak to the press. Trump can't post anywhere on social media, yet the quote-unquote key star witness, Michael L.A.D. Lion-ass Dog Cohen, he can say whatever he wants. He can go on TikTok and post whatever he wants. He can talk about this case ceaselessly. Now, if that's not a double standard, what in the world? How do you define one? Cohen then went on to explain that someone had called him and told him about Pecker's testimony. Blanche launched back into some of Cohen's more vulgar posts. And then Cohen acknowledges being admonished by the prosecutors. Defense lawyer Todd Blanche portrayed Cohen as a media hound, intimating that he has leaked self-serving information about himself for a variety of stories, including a 2021 AP report that Cohen had been interviewed by New York prosecutors and a CNN report that he had turned over his phone to investigators. Cohen repeatedly answered, I don't recall, prompting Blanche to note that one day earlier he was able, under a prosecutor's questioning, to recall with great specificity phone calls from years earlier. Funny how that selective memory works. He did acknowledge repeated and more direct admonitions from prosecutors after the indictment was returned to not talk about the case. What have they said to you? Blanche asked. Please don't talk about the case, Cohen said. Blanche said Cohen has nonetheless gone on television more than 20 times in the last year. So where's the fine? Where's the gag order? Where is the violation of the court, violation of ethics, violation of Judge Fake Don Juan Merchan's orders? There is none. It's moot, empty, nada, holada. This is double standard. Blanche asked him why, if he wants Trump convicted, would he answer with the word, quote, probably. Cohen said it was because he wasn't exactly sure of the words he used. On another occasion, when Blanche asked if he wanted to see Trump convicted, Cohen hedged again. I would like to see accountability, he said. It's not for me. It's for the jury of this court. And then Blanche pressed him. I'm just asking you yes or no. Do you want to see President Trump get convicted in this case? Quote, sure, Cohen replied. He basically admitted in court he wants to see President Trump convicted. How is this your star witness? How is this not damning all of his testimony? How can you take him seriously? How can you take him as somebody who is a trustworthy witness, who is neutral and objective? You can't. He just admitted it. I mean, Merchan should literally announce that this is a mistrial and acquit Trump of all charges. This is a complete circus show. And we saw that in Vivek's amazing press conference, as well as Byron Donaldson and governor from Dakota, as well as a couple of other, Speaker Johnson was there today. A couple of powerhouse people were there in support of Trump. This is a direct, congruent confirmation that this is a complete sham. Cohen has completely obliterated the prosecution's case. He's completely exposed Bragg. But wait, there's more. Here's where Blanche presses Cohen about his TikTok live streams. This lion-ass dog has been going on TikTok lives every single night, getting money from his followers, getting all sorts of gifts that if you don't know anything about TikTok, you can go live on TikTok and you get these digital gifts, which you can then transfer into money. And so he's been doing this, and he says these TikTok live streams allow him to, quote, vent and create community. Oh, you poor little weaselly, shriveled vermin, troglodyte parasite. Oh, you poor little baby. You want to go create a community? You need to vent, huh, Cohen? All your lies and all the chaos that you sowed that you're now reaping, you need a little time, right? You need to vent. I want to be creative. What are you, a 12-year-old? He started 6 weeks ago, and people can subscribe to his post for $5.99 a month. Cohen testified. Cohen said the goal of his TikTok live streams is to, quote, build an audience, to create community, really to vent. I've had trouble sleeping, so I found an outlet. Oh, you poor little baby. Asked how many of his nightly TikToks involve talking about Trump, Cohen said, quote, I only do it 6 days a week. I would say 6 days a week, end quote. Cohen, under questioning, testified that he mentioned Trump on every episode of his podcast. This is game over. It's over. But wait, there's more. Asked by Blanche whether his views on Trump changed, Cohen said it was around the time he gave an interview to ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos in July 2018, a little less than 2 months before he pleaded guilty to federal charges. In the interview, which was conducted off camera, Cohen suggested his loyalty to Trump had waned. He told Stephanopoulos, quote, my wife, my daughter, my son have my first loyalty and always will. I put family first and country first. You LAD, you're such a lion-ass dog. Do you believe this guy? Cohen says he came away from the conversation thinking, quote, that it was time to listen to them and show loyalty to my wife, son, my daughter, and my country. You finally realize that after turning what, 56, 57? I don't know how old you are, 62. You finally learned that after 50 years? You finally realize that a father, a husband, a devoted family man is supposed to think about their wife and their son, and now all of a sudden, and country, and now all of a sudden you just realize this? Then Blanche asked if he admired Trump and his wealth, and Cohen said yes. Cohen was asked about having read twice Trump's 1987 book, quote, The Art of the Deal. I viewed it as an excellent book, yes, Cohen said. You actually called it a masterpiece, Blanche said, to which Cohen agreed. Blanche asked Cohen if he admired Trump and saw himself in him, whether he saw the businessman as an ambitious, hardworking, and innovative man, which Cohen affirmed. Blanche then asked Cohen if he had said in his 2020 memoir, Disloyal, that he was obsessed with Trump. Cohen said he couldn't recall having said that. Of course not. The defense attorney tried to get Cohen to square his over-the-top praise for his former boss with his stance now. As he continued to press, Cohen appeared at times to get irritated with an edge in his voice. Remember, this is not televised, so this is all firsthand witness from the press, saying several times of his past comments, quote, that's how I felt, end quote. Quote, at the time I was knee-deep into the cult of Donald Trump, end quote, Cohen said at one point. And then here is one of the most bizarre moments from this cross-examination, which is just, to me, I don't understand how this case can even go on after this. But listen to this. Before the break, Cohen and Blanche, they started to kind of basically get into this argument about definitional concepts. At one point, Blanche saying, I'm just trying to ask questions, Mr. Cohen. The dispute was, how do you define a lie? Check this out. So Blanche asked, is not accurate information a lie? Sure, Cohen said. It was inaccurate, yes. Was it a lie? Blanche asked. I don't know if I would characterize it as a lie, Cohen said. In your mind, if something's inaccurate, but it's not a lie, how are you distinguishing that in your head? Blanche asked. It's a great question. And then Cohen appeared to concede at this point. And then instead of bickering, he just basically said, quote, sure, I'll say it's a lie, end quote. What? You just admitted in court what the whole world knows. You're a lying-ass dog. Period. Cohen was then asked to listen through headphones to snippets of his podcast as Trump was sitting at the defense table. He was asked by Blanche if he recalled saying in an October 2020 podcast episode that Trump needs to wear handcuffs and that, quote, people will not be satisfied until this man is sitting in a cell, end quote. Cohen said he didn't recall saying that, but, quote, I wouldn't put it past me, end quote. Is it fair to say that you were motivated by fame? Blanche asked. No, sir, I don't think that's fair to say, Cohen said. I'm motivated by many things. Give me a freaking break. This guy is absolute capital SCUM scum. Blanche then asked Cohen if he recalled referring to Trump as a, quote, boorish cartoon misogynist and a, quote, Cheeto-dusted cartoon villain. Sounds like something I said, Cohen replied to each statement. This was, again, a constant, frequent refrain during the entire cross-examination. He's admitting to vilifying, he's admitting to maligning Trump over and over again, admitting that he should be in jail, admitting that he's a liar. How is this moving forward? It makes no sense. Blanche asked him if he also said, I truly hope that this man ends up in prison. Cohen then responded, it sounded like something he said on his Mea Culpa podcast. You've admitted that you're a liar. You've admitted that you want him in prison. You've admitted that you've made money. You've admitted that you haven't listened to any of the court orders, any of the prosecutor's wishes and requests to stop talking. You don't have a gag order. You're not being fined. What the world is going on? And then this is the big one right here, right? But I mean, I don't know if I could say this is the big one. There's so many bombshells that, I think that this Michael Lioness Dog Cohen has completely obliterated this case. But this one seems to be the one that really almost you could say is the nail in the coffin. Cohen conceded that after reconnecting with Manhattan DA office early in 2021, that's Alvin Do Nothing Bragg, he wanted the prosecutor's office to publicly acknowledge that he was cooperating, again, in hopes of getting part of his sentence reduced. But as has been his approach throughout the early stages, Cohen wasn't direct in his response. Asked by Blanche if that was his desire, Cohen said, quote, I would say so, yes, end quote. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You wanted that, Blanche responded. Yes, Cohen said. Cohen explained that he was looking for a reduction of the home confinement portion of his sentence, which ran until November 2021. He said he wanted the reduction not only as a reward for his cooperation, but also because he thought he was entitled to a year off from credits he racked up for working and completing programs in federal prison. Cohen suggested the Federal Bureau of Prisons may have miscalculated his sentence. He remains under court supervision until November. So you mean to tell me, before this Trump trial even got brought up, or even the indictment was announced, which we still don't know what the crime is, we still don't know who the victim is, we still have no idea what's going on. All we get is a nebulous, vague idea of what's happening here. Falsified business records, falsified business doc, means nothing. He didn't falsify anything. You mean to tell me before any of that arose, you met with Alvin Do-Nothing Bragg and you publicly wanted to acknowledge that he was helping you and that you guys were in cahoots before this trial started? I mean, game over. Game over. There is nothing else to say about this. And then right after that, court adjourned for today. It is game over. How in the world can this case move forward? You're an admitted liar. You're a serial perjurer. You're a felon. You went to jail. You lied to Congress. And you just admitted right now that you lied in this courtroom today. And then you just admitted you met with Alvin Do-Nothing Bragg before this case started to try to drum up some sort of favor and charges so you could get a reduced sentence. I mean, that's a plea deal. Anytime you do a plea deal, you have to give something in return. Anytime you try to get a reduced sentence as a suspect, as a defendant, as a convicted felon, you have to give something in return. So this is quid pro quo. This is a plea deal. This is admission that Alvin Do-Nothing Bragg just wants to see Trump put away. Who, again, Alvin Do-Nothing Bragg is just a minion. He's a pawn. This is the Obama-Clinton House of Cards, Frank Underwood playbook right here. It is the most egregious. It is criminal. All these people need to be put behind bars. All these people are engaging in election interference. There's no other way of looking at it. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? What do you think of this? How can this case move forward? It's over, in my opinion. I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. As always, think about becoming a member. You get top priority as well as all sorts of other amenities, exclusive content, badges next to your name. You get access to our members-only Discord. Become a Nez Nation Insider. That's our free newsletter. Some of you guys have been telling me, hey, Nez, I'm not getting notifications when you go live, when a new video comes out. As we get closer to the election, y'all, these platforms are going to censor us like no other because mainstream media doesn't talk about this stuff and they don't want us talking about it. Your best way, your foolproof way of always being in the know and never missing out on any new content is to become a Nez Nation Insider. It's free. It's our free newsletter. That's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. Sign up right now. It's absolutely free. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right now. As always, God bless you and may God bless America. Let's make patriotism go viral.